This is not a facecam video. So yesterday I asked my Discord community what today's video should be about. Because the thing is, as a YouTuber who makes his bread and butter off of salt videos, off of fanboy salt videos, it kind of leaves me in a weird spot when there's not a whole lot of fanboy salt going on of like, what the frick do I talk about? People don't care about me as a person. They don't care about my opinions when I'm not talking about fanboys. What am I supposed to do? Somebody come wipe my butt for me. I'm not wearing a diaper. And I should have known that asking my Discord community for the video topic was a mistake because the first response I got was to make a video about my mother. I don't think you want me to make a video about my mother. She's a nice person. She's a very, very, very nice person. I love her very much. That's not a very interesting video. But after that, Joe from Anthrocon, which, just pause. The fact that this person is named Joe from Anthrocon meant that I had to Google what Anthrocon is. Do I look like someone who wants to know what Anthrocon is? I'm going to kill myself. But they actually had a very good suggestion. They say, quote, not super sure, but I think it'd be neat for you to go over crazy misconceptions about PC in a more general way that doesn't focus on dumb people on Twitter. Things such as the inconvenience of PC gaming, the prices, the options, the whole you don't own your games on PC thing, the whole controller situation on PC, people thinking performance issues only happen on PC. And this got me thinking with my big giant brain. LeFou, I'm afraid I've been thinking. A dangerous pastime, I know. But that wacky old coot is Belle's father. And his sanity's only so-so. Now the wheels in my... No one stopped me. You let the drama teacher start singing Beauty and the Beast, and nobody stopped him. That's on you. But frankly, I think this is a good idea. Because there are a lot of misconceptions about PC gaming. They're things that I touch on in a lot of my videos, but they're not things that get a big dedication to them. They're not things that I really dedicate a lot of time to, because they're like one-offs or they're asides that I have in videos about other things. So at that point, I just said, you know what? Screw it. And I asked my Discord, what are the biggest misconceptions you've seen about PC gaming? And in this video, we're just gonna go through them. We're gonna break down the biggest misconceptions about PC gaming. I'm gonna explain to you very articulately why they're wrong. And if by the end of this video, I've converted just one more person to PC from console, or I've gotten one more person to say, you know what, console gaming is dumb and I don't like it, then good. I've succeeded. Even if you can't build a system equal to a console, you can't have fun on it anyway. This is one that we hear a lot of. This one, it's kind of an evolution of an older PC or anti-PC talking point. The idea that, you know, if you can't build a PC that's equivalent in technical power to a console, that it's not worth doing. This often is the counter to people who say that console gaming has gotten too expensive because consoles are so expensive these days. They say, oh, PCs are more expensive and, you know, something price per dollar. That if you make a PC that is less powerful than a console of an equivalent price, then that PC is not worth buying. This is a gigantic misconception. And frankly, I think the only reason this misconception exists is so people on the console side of the fence can demean discount builds or budget builds. When in reality, a less powerful PC is going to get you a lot of times equal performance to a, you know, if you're using consoles as the standard, you could build a PC that is slightly less powerful than a PS5, but gives you better performance than the PS5 because of the mere existence of things like settings menus, of things like mods that can streamline performance. And that's assuming you even care about games with realistic graphic styles, which a lot of people on the PC don't. Look at this chart of the most played games on the PC, at least right now, according to Steam charts. A lot of these games are not technically demanding to run. And I mean, when I think of games that are extremely popular on the PC, I think of games like Marvel Rivals, of Dota, of Counter-Strike, of Stardew Valley, of Sims. None of these games are demanding to run. You can easily run these games with hardware that is technically, on paper, less powerful than a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. And also, if you have a gaming PC that's less powerful than a mainstream console, that doesn't change the fact that if you go to the PC, you are gaining access to all of the amazing advantages of being on the PC. cheaper games, a much larger library of games. You also have the gigantic library of older games from like 2017 and older that, first of all, a lot of modern consoles don't have access to, but second of all, you don't need powerful hardware to play at amazing performance. I think the misconception here is that people seem to think that consoles are the benchmark. That if you can't perform at the same level as a PS5 or a PS5 Pro, that your system is somehow weak. When, first of all, that's not true, but second of all, that doesn't actually mean that you can't have good performance if your machine is less powerful on paper than a PS5 or a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Series X or any console really. Because not every game has the same recommended specs. Not every game is expecting the same hardware from you. On the consoles, there's no hardware variety, so console people don't think about stuff like that. And that's not their fault, but it leads to a misconception. You can absolutely have a gaming PC that is less powerful than a mainstream console and have no performance issues or performance complaints at all. It depends on what games you're playing and what benchmarks you're trying to hit. And I also just find this argument so funny because console dudes are the same dudes who will tell you, yeah, we don't have like the best graphics compared to a top line gaming PC. Yeah, we don't have 200 frames per second, but we still enjoy the game because it's good. We enjoy the game even though it's at lower specs than a PC would be. But then, if a console version has higher specs than a budget PC version, then they say, oh, look at how much better the console is. Oh, I thought you guys didn't care about performance though, because the game was still the same, and the game was still perfectly enjoyable on lower specs. Isn't that interesting? Okay, next point. I hate gaming on PC because of keyboard and mouse. Okay, so use a controller, you big stupid idiot. Use a controller, plug it in. What are you doing? How are we still doing this? The PC has access to basically every controller to ever exist. You're not limited to keyboard and mouse. Why do you give a shit? Like, what the this one baffles me. I don't get it. I've been using controller a lot recently, actually. I've been playing a lot of more controller-based games. It's just relaxing, you know, leaning back in my big comfy chair, crossing my legs like I'm a fucking evil mastermind, and just playing on my 360 controller. Because the 360 controller is yet to be matched. I have all the games I could ever want, and I have the 2 controllers I could ever want. The 360 controller and the GameCube controller. Or keyboard and mouse, if I'm playing something that really requires precision. Because if you choose to play a shooter on a controller over a keyboard and mouse, you're a fucking psychopath. But if you don't want to play games on keyboard and mouse, you literally don't have to. Nobody is making you. This point makes no sense. And that's why it's in the video of misconceptions. You misconceptualized this thing. You dork. I prefer gaming on my couch. So plug the PC into your TV and play on your couch with a controller. I'm once again asking how the fuck we're still doing this in 2025. Every gaming PC, and not even just gaming PCs, just computers in general at this point, will have an HDMI port. They will have a port in the back of the computer. You can take that HDMI port and use it to plug your computer into your TV with an HDMI cable, the same way that you would plug a console into your TV with an HDMI cable. And then you boot the game and play normally on your TV through that HDMI cable. This one blows my mind because it's like we've literally been saying, PC gamers have literally been saying for over a decade at this point, ever since PCs gained HDMI support, which was something like 10 years ago, we've been saying you can plug your computer into your TV with the same exact cable and same exact port that you use to plug your console into your TV. Your console has an HDMI port. Your PC, 9 times out of 10, will have an HDMI port. Just use it. What's the problem? These things have been available to you for so long, and you just act like they don't exist. Next point. That PCs require you to learn about the things that you buy, and I don't have time for that, or I think it's scary. This is the first misconception, I would say, that is partially true, but it's not even that the details themselves are misconceptions, but more so that the idea or the mindset around the things are misconceptions. You do benefit from learning things about the hardware that you're buying. You do benefit from learning things about the OS, about settings menus, but that doesn't mean you are required to. You benefit from learning about these things, and your experience is definitely enhanced by learning about these things, but it's not a requirement. If you want to just plug your PC into your monitor or your TV, boot the game, and not touch anything, you can do that. If you just want to deal with presets for graphics menus, performance, or graphics, you can do that. If you never want to think about drivers or updates or anything and just deal with what it does in the background, just like consoles do in the background, you can do that. Now, is that the most optimal way to experience PC gaming? No, absolutely not. There is so much going on the PC that you can learn about and use to your advantage to make your experience better. But is it a requirement? No, actually not. If you really insist on buying a pre-built PC, only using graphical presets and not learning anything about the machine, just allowing it to auto update and do whatever it thinks is the bare minimum and use that as your gaming machine, that's perfectly an option. I may not prefer to play that way. I may not think that's the most optimal way to take advantage of the machine that you have in your home, but it is an option to you. But even then, there's the issue of, look, I don't want to learn about these things. Okay, well, I think you should. Oh, well, it scares me. I think these things are complicated. When they're really not. Settings menus are not complicated. Update menus are not complicated. You've just been told that they are. And if you've never experienced these things firsthand, it's not even your fault for continuing to believe that they are. But they're not complicated. If your drivers are outdated, you can update them. Takes 5 minutes. If your game is not running very well on the presets, you can change the settings. You may not know what all the settings are. You may not know what all the words mean, but you can learn. And it's not hard to learn. Because you can take 5-10 minutes in one game, play with the settings. Oh, I changed this one from medium to high. Oh, I changed this one from high to low. You see what changes. Now I know what that setting means. And now, when I go into the next game, I'll know what that setting means. I'll never have to think about these things so deeply ever again. Because I know what it means. I know what I'm looking for. It's not a roadblock. It's just a learning curve. And a perfectly fair one. You're not being punished for playing on PC. You are just being asked to participate in the learning curve. And once you do participate in the learning curve, not only do you not have to put that effort into that learning curve ever again because you've already learned it, but also your experience is much more personal to you. Your experience is better because you participated in the learning curve once. Does that make sense? It's just these things are not scary. They're very straightforward. You spend more time trying to get it to actually work than playing the games. After working on a computer all day, the last thing I want to do is play games on a computer. So the first one is just wrong. You spend more time trying to get it to work than playing the games. That one's just wrong. That one implies that PC games require a bunch of troubleshooting, that you buy a game on Steam and then have to do a whole bunch of technical troubleshooting to get it to work. No. 99% of the time, you buy a game on Steam, you click play, and the game boots with no problem. And in the 1% of time where it doesn't work, the fix is usually very simple. Like Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7 are two very good examples of this. If you want to play Battlefield 6 or Black Ops 7, on PC, you had to make sure secure boot was enabled. This is something that most PC gamers don't think about, but if you look at a little tutorial, look up how to do it, takes 5 minutes, and now the game boots. And it's extremely straightforward because we don't live in a world anymore where PCs are formatted in this way that is super hard to understand. You need a fucking computer science degree to figure out how to navigate your BIOS. That's just not the world we live in anymore. Everything is very straightforward. Everything is very easy to understand if you just read the fucking words on the screen. But some people will say that when people say that, oh, you spend more time trying to get it to work, what they mean is you're spending time going through settings menus. We already went through that. Once you do it once and learn what the words mean, no settings menu ever again will take you more than a minute to go through. And if you spend a minute on the game when you first booted up the first time, 1 minute in the settings menu gives you an objectively better experience for the rest of the time you play the game. I'm perfectly happy with that trade-off. And if you are not happy with that trade-off, use the presets. This just is not an argument. But the second point here is what makes me laugh. After working on a computer all day, last thing I want to do is play games on a computer. Boss, I just don't get this one. And that's coming from someone who, for like 5 years, worked full-time at home on his computer. I would clock in, work on my computer, clock out, and then open Steam on that computer. This one's just a personal thing. I just don't get it. It's like saying, man, I use my car to drive to work. After work, I don't want to drive anywhere else for fun. Like, I just don't get it. This really just seems like you're trying to find reasons to not like the PC. If it's a change of scenery you want, like you work in an office and then you want to play games not in an office setting, great. Don't play games in an office setting then, you dork. Personal thing. Or as the kids say, skill issue. You have to replace parts every 6 months to keep up. Completely untrue because of the existence of graphic settings. Hardware on the PC has such incredible longevity. Being able to change the graphic settings means you drastically increase the lifespan of your hardware. That hardware, when you bought it, was targeting the top of the end graphics. But as time goes on, the top of the end keeps going, your hardware stays the same. That hardware of the console continues trying to match the top of the end performance, even though that's not a fair expectation, because there's no graphic setting. But on the PC, there is. You can keep targeting these things. You can keep just tweaking settings, playing new games, tweaking settings, and stretching out the lifespan of your hardware because your hardware is not targeting anything higher than you want it to be targeting. I haven't upgraded my graphics card in over a year, and I really have no desire to. Not unless I find a really baller deal on one, because the hardware marketplace is just so rich on the PC that you can do that. But a necessity? No, it's absolutely not a necessity. I don't have to replace anything. I'm simply choosing not to because I'm happy with the performance that I have. I have a gaming rig that is perfectly capable of running basically everything I want at 1440p, 144 FPS. And I'm willing to change graphic settings to get to that point. But that is the way I want to play games. 1440p, 144 FPS. My monitor is 1440p, with a refresh rate of 144 Hz. And the rig that I have in my computer is perfectly capable of playing all the games that I want to play at those metrics. So why would I upgrade? It's not necessary. Why would I do that? I have found the setup I want. There's nothing pushing me to go higher. I have the option to go higher in the future if I want, but that future's not now, so I don't care. The PC has no exclusives. This one's objectively wrong. The PC has infinitely more exclusives than the consoles. They're just not the ones that get big commercials and billboards, which, if you have any brains at all, you should know that the presence of billboards and advertisements have nothing to do with the quality of the game itself. There's a million games that get marketed to hell and back, and they're complete dog shit. But because the PC is an open marketplace, you have more access to AA games, to indie games, games that couldn't exist on a corporate market space like the consoles. The PCs, in terms of number of exclusives, the PC has way more exclusives than the consoles ever could. But even if you want to say that, oh, the PC doesn't have like the big, highly marketed exclusives, first of all, it's weird that you put value in the amount of money that goes into advertising things. Like, oh no, when we're talking about exclusives, what we're talking about is the big, like, big deal exclusives. But you don't even know it's a big deal exclusive unless someone spends hundreds of millions of dollars on the marketing. And I mean, I could spend hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing for anything. I could put a baseball in a plastic bag and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing for that. And it would have the exact same power as The Last of Us 2 to you people. No, that's not a fair comparison. How is it not? The only difference between the exclusives on consoles and the exclusives on PC is that the exclusives on consoles have corporations throwing millions of dollars at the marketing for them. That is the only difference. The PC has more exclusive games. And, ironically, the PC has access to all of the console exclusive games that you can't even play on the consoles anymore. I want to play a bunch of GameCube games. I want to play a bunch of PS2 games. Modern consoles won't let me do that. The PC will. So, shut the fuck up. And that concludes what I think, and what my Discord thinks, are the biggest misconceptions with PC gaming. Obviously, there are more misconceptions. Obviously, PC gaming does not stop there, but I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you had a lot of fun with this. I hope you learned something today. And so what we have learned applies to our lives today. God has a lot to say in this book. You know that God's word is for everyone. Now that our songs, and we'll take a look. Okay, Doofus Club time. Oh no, it's CM Punk, Solar Rock, Joe Goons for guest on here. Have 6 dozen eggs. Max, LVT Gaming, Nate, Lee, Bill, Jar. I want to squeeze Harmon Smith's Temples, Grimsy, Sergeants and Bond, Unicorn Rocco. It's a hard dog life. Nice dude. One Man Savage. People up in a bowler hat. Biscuit 1101. No payoff. Official Dregs. Oh no, it's Snoop Docky Doc. Vector of Audrey, Mechanical Resonance, Sick Nick, Mad Fox 94, XJ Induction, Bear Brain, Stick Rider, Broken Crayon, Cobra Bravo the Wacking, Joe didn't remember my name, Joe's a fake fan, Devastator 2000, Jake Spider Monkey 1994, hashtag MajorTV, Show from Meows Schmitz, Chris Void, Fast Dennis, Gaming with the Mule, Master Muskie, Big Fudge, Bodie McBoat Face, and the Modi McBoat Face, Club to Penguin, Judge 06, Mold Theme, Really Zerd, Oracle, Blaster 14, Jimmy Chops, Mason Master Killer, Fire, 2056, Tom Sherrill Accent, Unknown 6718, and the letter H, live action Scooby Doo from 2002, deserves an Oscar, Ed Shadowbear 1789, Better Fondue, you tell me a gingerbread this man, T-Train, Rising Around on for Law, High, Partial Main 8, Vox Auto, Codman 4372, WX, The Gamer 127YT, Aldoratho 1, Snake Eyes 37, Game Award 272, McKee 2296, A Hand Thigh, Xbox, Game of Fire has a 105, Tech Gaming Jungles on Slim Jim, Lord Baz the second, Joe Laughs at Us in the Mode, Gaylord with Old Doc is in the PC Gamer, Discord Server, Ricky Spell, Ticket 2000, Atomic Dog, Ruben the Steel Angel, Harmon Smith, Fox's Pikachu, Blush Daily, Baron Von Vada, Homsire 6771, 2 Dex 940, I looked at your face the entire video, lol, Lamau. Good. Creed Warrior 23, Max the Chef, Simply the Chat, Totally Insane. Welcome, Step Joe to Gara, weekly scheduled pegging. Night of Sapphire, 5 fucking fuck. Night of Cypher. ML04, Ion 6, copies of Click 2006 on Blu ray, Wolf of Midnight, Pigby, Steve Wynn Studios, Film Kraken, Own Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thornscape, Maganex, Severin, Evans, Masson, the 3. It's a comedy of Freaking White Mixer, Pow Pow, Donnie Weston, Nick, Gob Gonson, Rogue Winter, 19, Zach Thang, Candy Kitten Family, Hanging Man for Hire, Ellen Noble, Frost Crystal, Biogenesis, Floppy Pinkers 97, Mega Keys, Coffee Go, So Resoggy, Raptors, Office 94, Blue Hook, The Winning Wagon, Misecto, Squeak, Ms. Jody, Beatus, Smitty, Wiggy, Anger Man, Jensen, McAdvertisement, Diego Garcia, Gibbikins, I'm American, Idiot, Harmon Smith on the chin, Oh no, it's Justin Rand, Rude, Tweeney Wayne, Extendable 7, Retro, Wannabe Hobo, Westa, Jay's Fan, Respects the Mariners, Veg, Groove Banana, Curtin, Allen's Pack, Saul, Higher Than, Hey Joke, tell me a joke, oh fuck, hey Siri, tell me a joke about console fanboys. All of them believe the things in this video. They all believe the things in this video, that's too bad. Okay, toodles.